Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition series where I preview the 2020 NFL Draft in full-fledged style. First, I'm going to do my big board and go down my big board 1 through 100. And for my first round talents, give out comparisons to everybody. And then I am going to do some predictions as well as my best 10 bets for the NFL Draft. All right, to the big board we go. Number 1, I have Chase Young out of Ohio State, defensive end. My conference, Joey Bosa. I think this guy's going to be a star. 2, Joe Burrow, quarterback, LSU. Should go number 1. To the Bengals tonight, my comp for him is Matt Ryan. In terms of best fits for these guys, Chase Young, I think his best fit's obviously the Redskins. First fun, let's say the Redskins don't take him. They take Jeff Okudah or trade out of the pick. I think the Giants would be an excellent fit. I think that he'd fit on Detroit. I think that he'd fit a lot of different places. The Cardinals alongside Chandler Jones, Carolina, pretty much everywhere. And then Joe Burrow, other than Cincinnati, he'd fit well with the Dolphins. He'd fit really well with the Chargers. And he'd fit with Bill Belichick in New England. Jeff Okudah, cornerback, Ohio State's my number 3 player. By comparison, Denzel Ward, his best fit. That's a tough call. I'm going to say that his best fit is with Arizona. I don't think that he'll drop to Arizona. He also fits well with Detroit, where he's very likely to go. If he doesn't go to Detroit, the Panthers are a good fit. The Giants would be a good fit. If Washington randomly traded down, which they're not, that he'd fit there as well. My number 4 player, Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver, Alabama. My conference, Calvin Johnson. I think this guy's a mega star. His best fit is the Oakland Raiders. He'd fit well on the New York Jets. He'd fit well on the Denver Broncos, the San Francisco 49ers. Isaiah Simmons, linebacker, Clemson. That's my number 5 guy on the big board. Comp, Luke Kuechly. Best fit, I'd say it's the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, he does remind me of Kuechly, but he'd fit really, really well on that team. He'd fit well on the Chargers if they somehow passed up on a quarterback at number 6. He'd fit well in Arizona. He'd fit well in Jacksonville. He'd fit really well on the Giants. Tristan Wirfs, the offensive tackle for Iowa, is my number 6 player. My comp is Brian Bulaga, formerly of the Packers, now of the Chargers. His best fit's the Arizona Cardinals. He'd fit well on the Giants. He'd fit well on Carolina. He'd fit well in Jacksonville. He'd fit well in Tampa. Jedrick Wills, offensive tackle, Alabama, is my number 7 player. My comp's Mitchell Schwartz of the Chiefs. I think his best fit's the New York Giants. There's obviously the ties there with Joe Judge in Alabama and Nick Saban. He'd fit in Arizona. He'd fit with the Jets. He'd fit with Tampa. He'd fit with the Browns. 8, Derek Brown, defensive tackle, Auburn. My comp is Ndamukong Suh. His best fit is, I really think it's Detroit. I think he fits really well there. They have a major need in the interior of their defense. He'd also fit in Arizona. He'd fit well in Carolina. He'd fit well in Jacksonville. 9, Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback, Alabama. His best fit's the Dolphins. It's just like that personality, that cool Southern feel personality to him. Obviously was a stud at Alabama. He'd fit great on the Chargers. He'd fit very well on Cincinnati. If he were healthy, maybe he's the number 1 pick and not Burrow. But that's another conversation for another day. Number 10, CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver, Oklahoma. My comp for him is Odell Beckham Jr. Obviously, my Tua comp is Drew Brees, except a lefty version of him. My CeeDee Lamb comp's Odell Beckham Jr. With all the abilities he has, he reminds me a lot of Odell. He'd fit well with his former teammate Kyler Murray in Arizona. He's obviously not going there. His best fit, I think, is the New York Jets with Sam Darnold, who need a number 1 receiver badly. He'd fit well in Denver. He'd fit well in San Francisco. He'd fit well on a bunch of other teams as well. 11, C.J. Henderson, cornerback, Florida. My conference, Carlos Rogers. His best fit, I'd say, is the Atlanta Falcons. I think they're just poised to take him tonight. Other good fits, Jacksonville, Carolina, Arizona, Denver, San Francisco. Javon Kinlaw is my number 12 player, defensive lineman from South Carolina. My comp is Michael Brockers of the Rams. Very versatile player. I think his best fit is San Francisco. He'd fit well on Jacksonville. He'd fit very well in Denver, Atlanta, Dallas. 13, Henry Ruggs, wide receiver, Alabama. My comp is Tyreek Hill because of his speed. Ruggs' best fit is Denver with Drew Lock and Courtland Sutton. He'd fit well on the Jets. He'd fit well in a lot of different places. Dallas, Philly, if they were trading up. He'd fit well in Arizona. He'd fit well in a couple places. 14, Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle, Georgia. My comp is Tyron Smith because of how steady he is. I think the best fit for Andrew Thomas is the Cleveland Browns. They could use a tackle opposite Jack Conklin. And another good fit would be Tampa Bay. There's some other fits too. Miami. Maybe the Jaguars. 15, K'Lavon Chaisson, defensive end, LSU. My conference, Aldon Smith, and that's ironic because I think Chaisson's best fit is in Dallas alongside DeMarcus Lawrence in that pass rush. I think he'd fit well in Atlanta. He'd fit well in Tennessee, although I can't see a scenario of them trading up or him falling down to them. He'd fit well in Philadelphia. He'd fit pretty well in a couple other places as well. 16, Kristen Fulton, cornerback, LSU. My comp for him is Quincy Wilson. I think his best fit is the Oakland Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders, my bad. They have a need at corner as well. Jacksonville would be a good fit. I think that Dallas would fit him. Atlanta, if they miss out on Henderson. A couple other teams. 17, Xavier McKinney, safety, Alabama. My comp for him is Harrison Smith. I think this kid could end up being really good. I think at least that's his upside. I think Miami's a great fit, and I think that's the best fit for him. New England would be a good fit. I think that some other teams like Philadelphia would be a solid fit. Tennessee, Green Bay, if they somehow got rid of one of their safeties, I think he'd fit fine there in that system. 18, Grant Delpit, safety, LSU. My comp for him is Kenny Vaccaro. Best fit, I don't think they're going to take him at 27. I think his best fit's Seattle. He'd fit very well in Jacksonville. He'd fit well in Las Vegas with the Raiders. He has a couple nice fits. 19, T. Higgins, wide receiver, Clemson. I love this kid. I know he's had injury issues, but he's played in so many big games with Trevor Lawrence and Clemson. My comp for him is Stephon Diggs, and that's ironic because I think his best fit's the Minnesota Vikings. And I think there are a bunch of teams that he'd fit nice on. New England, Jacksonville, Philly. If he drops to the second round, maybe a team like the Giants or the Jets or Arizona. 20, Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, LSU. My comp for him is Greg Jennings. Among fits, I think Philly's the best fit for Jefferson. I think he'd fit well in Jacksonville. I think he'd fit well in Dallas, Denver, San Francisco. 21, Mekhi Becton, offensive tackle, Louisville. Obviously, the drug issue. My comp for him is Bryant McKinney. Obviously, my Jefferson comp is Greg Jennings, the former Packers wideout. Becton, I think his best fit is with Tom Brady and the Bucs. I think that that's a good place for him. If he were to somehow drop, I think New England, Miami, Jacksonville, potentially at 20, could be possible destinations and our fits. 22, Trayvon Diggs, cornerback, Alabama. My comp for him is Aqib Talib. I think this kid's underrated. Best fit, this is ironic because this team just traded away his brother, but the Minnesota Vikings. The funniest outcome of the night would be if the Vikings drafted Trayvon Diggs. That would be the funniest outcome because they just traded away his brother. And that would be kind of weird if they just picked Diggs up in the first round with one of their first round picks. I think that's a great fit. I think that some other fits, are the Colts if he falls, the Giants if he falls, possibly the Jets if he falls. Tennessee is a fit, in my opinion. Jacksonville, or Las Vegas. Oh my God, I at least almost said Oakland, or said Oakland 5 times already on the podcast instead of Las Vegas for the Raiders. 23, Patrick Queen, inside linebacker, LSU. Mike Humphreys, Thomas Davis. I think that this kid is going to be really good in the league, even though he's undersized. Best fit, in my opinion, is the New Orleans Saints. I think he'd fit really nice there. I think the Ravens are a good fit. The Patriots, the Raiders, a couple other teams. Maybe the Giants if they traded up or if he fell. So there's a couple there. 24, Justin Herbert, quarterback, Oregon. My comparison for Herbert is Sam Darnold, the current Jets quarterback. Best fit, I think he has to go to a situation where there's a lot of talent on the roster, and that to me is the Los Angeles Chargers. I think that is a good fit for him. And the other fit I see with him, where I think he could succeed, is New England. 25, AJ Epineza, defensive end, Iowa. My comp for him is Carlos Dunlap. In terms of good fits, New England, I think, is the best fit. I think Trey Flowers is a popular player comp for him as well, although I like the Dunlap comp better. Minnesota would be a good fit. Jacksonville alongside Josh Allen. The Raiders. A couple other ones that stand out to me for fits for Epineza. Maybe the Ravens. 26, Jordan Brooks, linebacker, Texas Tech. My comp for him is Bobby Wagner. I've heard that comp a lot. I think this kid has a chance to be really good and a steal for somebody. I think the best fit for him is the Green Bay Packers, personally. They can use somebody like him. Ravens, Patriots, Raiders are also fits. The Giants. Number 27, Cesar Ruiz. Interior offensive line, Michigan. Now I'm into my round 2 grade players. Ruiz, I think, is a borderline 1-2. I could see him being drafted in the first round within like the 20s range. But the best fit for Ruiz, in my opinion, is the Dallas Cowboys, replacing the retired Travis Frederick. That'd be an outstanding fit. I think the Giants would be a good fit. I think that the Dolphins would be a good fit. I think that another solid fit would be the Bears if they had a chance at him. 28, DeAndre Swift, running back, Georgia. Fits for him, I would say the Dolphins, the Chiefs, the Ravens, maybe New England. 29, Jordan Love, quarterback, Utah State. I think this kid does have a chance to be really good. I think his best fit is New England, personally, or maybe Indianapolis behind a ready-made offensive line. And that's for the future if Indy were to go that route. I really don't have a solid comp for Jordan Love. But if I had one, maybe Josh Allen of the Bills. 30, Denzel Mims, wide receiver, Baylor. I think his best fits are Green Bay, Detroit, Carolina, Giants, Jets. 31, Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver, Arizona State. Good fits, I'd say Saints, Packers, Patriots, Ravens. 32, Yetur Gross-Matos, defensive end, Penn State. In terms of fits, I like Seattle, New England, Raiders. 33, Laviska Shenault, wide receiver, Colorado. In terms of good fits for Shenault, I could see Green Bay, Arizona, Carolina, maybe the Jets, if he's there for them in the second round. 34, Josh Jones, offensive tackle, Houston. I think his best fit's Miami. Other good fits would be New England, Dallas maybe if they somehow decide to go off the grind a little bit, but I don't see that. Or Philadelphia, for that matter. Washington, I think, would be a good fit for him if he falls to the second round. Oh, wait, no, they don't even have their own second-round pick, I don't think. I think Indy has their second-round pick. But yeah, if he somehow was on the Redskins, I think that'd be a good fit. 35, Zach Baun, inside linebacker, Wisconsin. Best fit for Bowen in my mind would be Tennessee. I like the idea of him there. I think Kansas City would be a good fit. Maybe San Francisco if they move on from Kwan Alexander. 36, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, running back, LSU. Best fit, Tampa Bay. I would love to see him in the Tom Brady offense in Tampa Bay. Kansas City would be a good fit. Miami, Baltimore. 37, A.J. Terrell, cornerback, Clemson. Best fit, I'd say a team like Jacksonville maybe, or Tennessee. But I think Jacksonville's the best fit, if I could say that for a bunch of different corners. I think he fit really well there. He fit very well in the Raiders too. 38, Jalen Johnson, cornerback, Utah. His best fit's Minnesota. He'd fit what Mike Zimmer would like to do. I think Tennessee, Jacksonville, New England maybe, and some other sleepers possibly could be for Jalen Johnson. 39, Austin Jackson, offensive tackle, USC. Best fit for him, I'd say, would be a team that is pretty patient in developing guys. And I could see a team like New England taking a chance on him at 23 or a trade back potentially. The Jets are a good fit for him. I think that the Bucks, if they pass on a lineman in the first round or if they trade back and get him. 40, Kenneth Murray, inside linebacker, Oklahoma. His best fit's the Ravens. I think Tennessee would be a good fit. I think New England would be a good fit. Green Bay, Kansas City. 41, Urza Cleveland, offensive tackle, Boise State. I love the Titans fit for him. Coming in and replacing Jack Conklin. I think the Giants could be a fit if they decide to go Isaiah Simmons in the first round. The Jets. Obviously the Browns. That'd be funny. That'd be the other funny moment of the draft if the Browns took Urza Cleveland. Cleveland takes Cleveland. 42, Isaiah Wilson, offensive tackle, Georgia. Best fit. I kind of like the New England fit for him too. I think Tennessee's interesting. I think Seattle's interesting for him as well. 43, Antoine Winfield Jr., safety, Minnesota. Best fit for Winfield. I like the fit of him in... who would be a good fit? Who could use a safety in like one of these later rounds? Maybe Dallas. I think he'd fit very well on the Cowboys. And I wouldn't rule out like safety teams like I mentioned, Raiders, Jags, maybe the Giants, maybe New England, Green Bay as a sleeper. 44, Ross Blacklock, defensive tackle, TCU. Best fit, San Francisco. If they don't go Javon Kinlaw in the first round, they can go with Blacklock. I think Blacklock would fit in Tennessee. I think he'd fit in a couple other places as well. 45, Jalen Reagor, wide receiver, TCU. Jalen Reagor's best fit. That's a good one. I keep saying Green Bay a lot for some of these guys. I just like the idea of him with Aaron Rodgers. Tennessee would be fun. Jacksonville would be interesting. Arizona. 46, Jonathan Taylor, running back, Wisconsin. I like the Chiefs fit for Jonathan Taylor a lot. As like a workhorse Mark Ingram type of player. It'd be funny if the Ravens drafted him. 47, Marlon Davison, defensive end, Auburn. A team that I think that Davison would fit very well on is a team that can use some edge rush help like the Minnesota Vikings, who are probably not bringing back Everson Griffin. I think he'd fit well in Tennessee. I think he'd fit well in Seattle. I think he'd fit well with the Giants and the Jets. 48, Michael Pittman, wide receiver, USC. It'd be only fitting if the Jets drafted him, only because he played with Sam Darnold with the Trojans. That would be a really good fit. I think New England, Giants, maybe Philadelphia, maybe Dallas, Washington, maybe New Orleans. 49, J.K. Dobbins, running back, Ohio State. Interesting guy. I think he'd fit with some running back needy teams like Baltimore, somebody like that, or Tennessee, potentially, because obviously Derrick Henry could very well be a free agent at the end of the 2020 season. And 50, KJ Hamler, wide receiver, Penn State. I think his best fit's in Washington. I love the idea with him and Haskins and McLaurin there in Washington. I think he'd fit well at the Jets, Giants, New England. I think that a team like Atlanta, maybe, if they want to go that route. If Denver misses out on a receiver, they can go Hamler. Minnesota, Green Bay, Chicago, maybe Seattle, maybe a team that we're not even thinking of, looking for depth. And then from 51 through 100, I'm not going to do possible fits. I'm just going to rattle off some names. 51, Noah Imbengoe, cornerback Auburn. 52, Jeff Gladney, cornerback TCU. 53, Matt Hennessy, interior offensive line Temple. 54, Lloyd Cushenberry, interior offensive line LSU. 55, Cole Kmet, tight end Notre Dame. 56, Bryce Hall, cornerback Virginia. 57, Jake Fromm, quarterback Georgia. 58, Damon Arnett, cornerback Ohio State. 59, Terrell Lewis, defensive end Alabama. 60, Julian Okwara, defensive end Notre Dame. 61, Curtis Weaver, defensive end Boise State. 62, Jordan Elliott, defensive tackle Missouri. 63, Cam Akers, running back Florida State. 64, Jalen Hurts, quarterback Oklahoma. 65, Chase Claypool, wide receiver Notre Dame. And now we're in the day 3 players, starting with Akers on the list. Day 3 players, Akers, Hurts, Claypool. 66, Raekwon Davis, defensive tackle, Alabama. 67, Tyler Byetsets, interior offensive line, Wisconsin. 68, Ashton Davis, safety, California. 69, Neville Gallimore, defensive tackle, Oklahoma. 70, Jacob Eason, quarterback, Washington. 71, Josh Uche, defensive end, Michigan. 72, Jonah Jackson, interior offensive line, Ohio State. 73, Darrell Taylor, defensive end, Tennessee. 74, Amik Robertson, cornerback, Louisiana Tech. 75, Harrison Bryant, tight end, FAU. 76, Donovan Peoples-Jones, wide receiver, Michigan. 77, Jeremy Chin, safety, Southern Illinois. 78, Justin Madapi, defensive tackle, Texas A&M. 79, Terrell Burgess, cornerback, Utah. 80, Prince Tega Wango, offensive tackle, Auburn. 81, Hunter Bryant, tight end, Washington. 82, Jonathan Greenland, linebacker, Florida. 83, Nick Harris, interior offensive line, California. 84, Thad Moss, tight end, LSU. 85, Adam Trotman, tight end, Dayton. 86, A.J. Dillon, running back, Boston College. 87, Lucas Niang, offensive tackle, TCU. 88, Devin Duvernay, wide receiver, Texas. 89, Tyler Johnson, wide receiver, Minnesota. 90, Willie Gay, linebacker, Mississippi State. 91, Troy Pride Jr., cornerback, Notre Dame. 92, Cameron Dantzler, cornerback, Mississippi State. 93, Bradley Anae, defensive end, Utah. 94, Malik Harrison, linebacker, Ohio State. 95, Robert Hunt, interior offensive line, Louisiana. 96, Akeem Davis-Gauthier, linebacker, Appalachian State. 97, Kyle Duggar, safety, Lenore Rain. Now we're in the my last 4, which are day 4 players, in my opinion. 98, Nathane Moody, interior offensive line, Fresno State. 99, Antonio Gandy Golden, wide receiver, Liberty. And 100, Troy Dye, linebacker, Oregon. I can't go down further for the rest of my list because we are running short on time. Now I want to do some betting, looking on the draft market and see which odds are good. Team to draft Tua Tagovailoa. Miami Dolphins minus 125. Los Angeles Chargers 2-1. Jacksonville Jaguars 5-1. Las Vegas Raiders plus 650. New England 15-1. Detroit 22-1. Redskins 23-1. Panthers 29-1. Bengals 40-1. Bucks 60-1. That's stupid. If I had to make a pick, I'd say Chargers 2-1. Number 1 overall pick, Joe Burrow is minus $1 billion. We don't have to do that. Chase Young is minus 3,000 to go. Number 2, we don't have to do that. Number 3 is interesting. Jeff Okudah plus 125. Tua plus 240. Derek Brown 5-1. Justin Herbert plus 550. Jedrick Wills Jr., Tristan Wirfs 14-1. Isaiah Simmons 16-1. Chase Young 22-1. And Jordan Love 110-1. I like the Derek Brown play at 5-1 for value. First 3 picks in the exact order. Burrow, Young, Okudah plus 150. Burrow, Young, Tua plus 250. Burrow, Young, Herbert plus 550. Burrow, Young, Andrew Thomas plus 750. Burrow, Young, Brown plus 750. Burrow, Young, Wills or Wirfs 11-1. Burrow, Young, Isaiah Simmons 1,600. By the way, I meant Wirfs or Wills in terms of Burrow, Young, Wills, and Burrow, Young, Wirfs is each 11-1. 26 to 1 Burrow, Young, Simmons, Burrow, Tua, Young, Burrow, Tua, Okudah, and Burrow, Herbert, Young. 50 to 1 Burrow, Tua, Jedrick Wills, and 90 to 1 Burrow, Tua, Simmons. I would go with Burrow, Young, Derek Brown, and plus 750. Player to be drafted in the top 5. The one I like from a value standpoint here is Derek Brown and plus 380. I think it's somewhat realistic if the Lions take him at either 3 or if they trade down with Miami at 5 and take him. Player to be drafted in the top 10. A value play I like on here is Jerry Jeudy at plus 230. I think there's a chance someone trades up for him. C.J. Henderson at plus 130 is a good one as well. Javon Kinlaw plus 250 is not bad either. Combos and parlays. First 4 quarterbacks drafted. I like Burrow, Herbert, Tua, Love at plus 160. Burrow, Tua, Herbert, Love is the favorite, minus 110. Exact order wide receivers: Lamb, Jeudy, Ruggs plus 120. Jeudy, Lamb, Ruggs 3 to 1. Lamb, Ruggs, Jeudy 480. Lamb, Jeudy, Jefferson plus 550. Jeudy, Lamb, Justin Jefferson plus 850. Ruggs, Lamb, Jeudy at 13 to 1. Jeudy, Ruggs, Lamb at 13 to 1. And Ruggs, Jeudy, Lamb at 20 to 1. I kind of like the, I won't be surprised if it's, Lamb, Ruggs, Jeudy plus 480. That would not really stun me. First 3 running backs: Swift, Taylor, Edwards-Helaire 350. Swift, Taylor, Dobbins 380. Swift, Edwards-Helaire, Jonathan Taylor 5 to 1. Swift, Dobbins, Taylor plus 750. Swift, Dobbins, Edwards-Helaire 9 to 1. Taylor, Swift, oh that's funny. Edwards-Helaire 10 to 1, and Taylor, Swift, Dobbins at 10 to 1. 11 to 1 Swift, Edwards-Helaire, Dobbins. 15 to 1 Taylor, Edwards-Helaire, Swift. I like at 5 to 1 Swift, Edwards-Helaire, and Jonathan Taylor. Team specials. First pick by the New York Football Giants. Tristan Wirfs is the favorite right now, minus 110. Jedrick Wills 2 to 1. Isaiah Simmons 5 to 1. Andrew Thomas 6 to 1. Mekhi Becton 13 to 1. Okudah 18 to 1. Derek Brown 20 to 1. Herbert 50 to 1. Blah. Lamb 60 to 1. Young 60 to 1. Ruggs 60 to 1. Jerry Jeudy 61. Tua 100 to 1. I like Wills Jr. at 2 to 1. My buddy Nick Costos, who's been on my show before, said these last couple days that he's heard from Giants people that they like Wills, and that's probably the pick at 4 if they stay there. So I'd go at Wills with 2 to 1. First drafted player position of the Giants: offensive lineman is minus 450. Linebacker at 5 to 1 is valuable in case you like Simmons there. First Jets player picked: Mekhi Becton 2 to 1. CeeDee Lamb plus 450. Andrew Thomas plus 50. Jerry Jeudy 6 to 1. Henry Ruggs 850. Wills and Wirfs are each 9 to 1. Austin Jackson and Josh Jones are each 20 to 1. And then it gets crazier from there. I like CeeDee Lamb at plus 450. I know Becton's the popular mock pick right now, but I go CeeDee Lamb at plus 450 for the Jets. First pick by the Philadelphia Eagles: Justin Jefferson 2 to 1. CeeDee Lamb 450. Denzel Mims 6 to 1. Kenneth Murray 7 to 1. Henry Ruggs plus 750. Jalen Reagor plus 950. Brandon Ayuk 12 to 1. Patrick Queen 13 to 1. Jerry Jeudy 14 to 1. And it keeps getting crazier. Jefferson's probably going to be it, but from a value standpoint, Kenneth Murray at 7 to 1 is not bad. First pick by the Indianapolis Colts: Jordan Love 5 to 1. T. Higgins 6 to 1. Brandon Ayuk 750. Shenault 750. Claypool 850. Reagor 9 to 1. Mims 950. And then it gets nuttier. I think that Jordan Love at 5 to 1 is not bad at all. And then there's a lot of draft numbers, like total quarterbacks drafted in round 1. Over 4.5 is plus 440, and under 4.5 is minus 700. It's probably going to be under for that. Some other ones that I want to talk about is school players. Alabama players drafted in the first round. Over 5.5 is plus 108. Under 5.5 is minus 136. You got Tua. You got the 2 wide receivers. Trayvon Diggs. You got potentially McKinney. And I don't know who the 6th one would be, so I like the under there. Clemson. Over under 2.5. I like the over 2.5. You have Simmons. You have A.J. Terrell. And you have T. Higgins. I like that over at plus 235 a lot. Georgia players drafted in the first round. Over 1.5 is minus 176 and under is plus 138. I like the under because I don't think running backs are going in the first round, so that eliminates Swift. But then the tricky thing here is that Isaiah Wynn could be, or the lineman, Isaiah Wynn was the one from a couple of years ago. Wrong name, obviously. I'm blanking on, Isaiah Wilson. Isaiah Wynn is the other guy, so, Wilson and Thomas could potentially go round 1. That's a stay away from me, but if I gun the point, I go under 1.5. LSU, my favorite in terms of players drafted in the first round. 5.5, over is plus 290, under is minus 410. You have Burrow, you got Jefferson, you got Queen, you got potentially Delpit, K'Lavon Chasen, and then you have Kristen Fulton and maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's 7 possibly. I like the over plus 290 a lot for LSU. Ohio State players drafted in the first round. Over 2.5 is plus 350. Under 2.5 is minus 550. I would stay away and probably go with the under. SEC versus the field. SEC's plus 270. The field's minus 380. I'd stay away. I'll probably take the field there. SEC players drafted in their first round. 15.5 over under. I rattled, I think, 6 potentially from LSU, 5 from Alabama. Derek Brown make that 12. C.J. Henderson make that 13. So I kind of like the under there. ACC, you got Mekhi Becton, you got Isaiah Simmons, and you have the 2 Clemson defensive players. The over 2.5 is minus 450, under is plus 310. Big Ten, overs 5.5, unders 5.5 is plus 122, and overs minus 156. You have the 2 Ohio State stars in Chase Young and Jeff Okudah, potentially Cesar Ruiz. You have maybe somebody like Antoine Winfield surprises and goes in the first round, but I don't think that is a guarantee. Maybe KJ Handler surprises and goes in the first round. I kind of like the under because I think the only surefire first round picks are the 2 guys from Ohio State, and I think Ruiz is not really a surefire, but I think it's a possibility. So I'd go under 5.5 for plus 122. Big 12, overs plus 110, unders minus 140, and the number's 3.5. You have CeeDee Lamb, you have Kenneth Murray, maybe Jordan Brooks, and maybe Denzel Mims. I like the over 3.5 for Big 12 players drafted. Pac-12 players drafted 2.5 over minus 152 and under plus 120. You have Justin Herbert. You have maybe Austin Jackson. And there's a couple other guys as well that are from the Pac-12. I would probably stay away from that one. Draft position, Tua Tagovailoa. Overs plus 140 now, and under 5.5 is minus 172. I still love the over at plus 140. I love that over. Justin Herbert draft position, over 5.5 minus 160, under 5.5 plus 130. I like the under. Jordan Love, over 22.5 minus 115, under 22.5 minus 105. I'd stay away. Those are quarterbacks. Running backs, DeAndre Swift's not on there. That's the one I would have liked. Wide receiver, let's go with Jerry Jeudy. 12.5. Oh, it's even money. Right now, I'd go under 12.5. I think that the Raiders probably take him at 12. CeeDee Lamb, under 12.5 minus 260. Over 2.5 plus 205. That's value at plus 205, but I'd probably go under. Henry Ruggs, 13.5. Over is minus 166, and under is plus 136. I'd go over there. Justin Jefferson, tough call here. Over 21.5 plus 205 and under 21.5 is minus 270. I'd probably go under there. Cole Kmet, Notre Dame tight end. over under 41.5 and even money each, minus 110. I'd go under, but I don't feel good about it. Offensive line. Tristan Wirfs over under 7.5. Overs plus 126. Under minus 152. I like the over plus 126. I think there's value there. Jedrick Wills over under 8.5 plus 175. Under 8.5 minus 210. I like the under. Andrew Thomas over 10.5 plus 230. Under 10.5 minus 300. I love the over here. Oh my God. That is going to be one of my best plays right there. 10.5 over for Andrew Thomas. Austin Jackson over under 25.5. 110 each. I'd go under. I think that's a good play as well. Defensive line, Derek Brown, 7.5. Over 7.5 is plus 140. Under is 7.5 minus 165. I'd say under. Javon Kinlaw, 13.5 over minus 136. Under 13.5 plus 114. I'd say over. Kalavin Chasen, over is minus 155. Under is plus 130 at 16.5. I'd say over. Yetur Gross-Matos, over 27.5 plus 100. Under 27.5 minus 122. I like the over at even money there. Let's go to linebackers. Isaiah Simmons, 6.5. Overs minus 300 and under is plus 130. I think the over is almost a lock, but I say almost because I still think there's a chance the Giants or the Chargers may take him at 4 or 6. Kenneth Murray, 21.5 is the over-under. Over is minus 135. Under is plus 115. I like the under on that one. Patrick Queen, 23.5. Even money at, 110 each on each side. I like the under on that one. CJ Henderson, 12.5. Over is minus 125. Unders plus 105. I like the over. And Jeff Gladney at TCU, 35.5. Overs minus 110. Unders minus 110. I like the over with the even money. And in the safety, Xavier McKinney, 24.5. Overs minus 116. Under is minus 106. I would go over. First wide receiver drafted, CeeDee Lamb's the favorite at minus 220. Jerry Jeudy's plus 220. Henry Ruggs, 7-1. Jefferson's 20-1. Hamler and Higgins are each 100-1. I'd stay away, and probably it's going to be Lamb. First offensive lineman, Wirfs minus 115. Wills plus 155. Andrew Thomas 4-1. Mekhi Becton 15-1. Josh Jones 50-1. Austin Jackson versus Cleveland 60-1. I'd say Wills at plus 155. First running back taken. DeAndre Swift minus 200. Jonathan Taylor plus 350. Clyde Edwards-Helaire 5-1. Dobbins 7-1. Moss 50-1. And Dillon 75-1. I'd go from a value standpoint, Edwards-Helaire 5-1, although it's probably going to be DeAndre Swift. First tight end drafted, Cole Kmet is minus 330. Adam Trotman's plus 420. Ogunbaum is 10-1. Hunter Bryant 10-1. Harrison Bryant's 12-1. Thad Moss 12-1. Bryson Hopkins 33-1. So is Jared Pinkey. Coleman Parkinson's 41-1, and it gets a little nutty. From a value standpoint, I like Harrison Bryant at 12-1. There are people that had him mocked to the New England Patriots a couple times. So I think there's value there at 12-1, and it's from trusted people in the media. First linebacker drafted, we don't have to do that. I think it's a lock that it's Isaiah Simmons. First safety drafted, Xavier McKinney is minus 300. Grant Delpit is plus 270. Jeremy Chin is plus 750. Antoine Winfield Jr. 9-1. Ashton Davis 32-1. Geno Stone 32-1. Jalen Elliott 44-1. Terrell Burgess 44-1. He'll probably be McKinney, but from a value standpoint, my buddy Nick Costos also thinks that there's a chance it's Jeremy Chin. I disagree with him, but he's a smart kid, so he could be right there. I think Delpit at plus 270 is pretty valuable. First kicker drafted, Rodrigo Blankenship, minus 230, was best kicker in college football last year. Dominic Eberle's plus 260. Tyler Bass plus 420. J.J. Molson 15-1. Sam Sloman 15, my bad. Jonathan Song 20-1. Cooper Roth 35-1. Kind of gets weird. From a value standpoint, maybe Tyler Bass at plus 420, although it'll probably be Rodrigo Blankenship. Drafted in the first round, Jacob Eason, plus 420, yes, minus 650, no. I'm going to say that's a no. Brandon Ayuk, drafted in the first round, yes, minus 176, no, plus 138. No is valuable, but it'll probably be a yes. Denzel Mims plus 112 for yes, minus 142 for no. I'd say no. Jalen Reagor, same odds as Mims. I would say no. T. Higgins, yes, plus 138. No, minus 176. I'd say yes for T. Higgins. DeAndre Swift drafted in the first round. Yes, minus 120. No, minus 106. I'd say no. AJ Epinesa drafted in the first round. Yes, minus 172. No, plus 134. I'd say yes. Patrick Queen and Kenneth Murray for the first round each. Yes is minus 550. No is plus 350. Murray no is not a bad guess. Grant Delpit drafted in the first round. Yes, plus 138. No, minus 176. I think yes is valuable, plus 138. Jeff Gladney, yes, plus 158. No, minus 205. I'd say no, but I won't be surprised if that's a yes. Kristen Fulton drafted in the first round. Yes, minus 235. No, plus 180. I'd say yes on that one. Trayvon Diggs drafted in the first round. Yes, minus 134. No, plus 104. I'd say yes there. Team to draft player. Team to draft Tua Tagovailoa. We went over that. Let's go with Isaiah Simmons. Carolina Panthers plus 210. Giants 5-1. Browns plus 340. Cardinals plus 550. Jags 6-1. Lions 850. Chargers 10-1. Miami 19-1. Falcons 10-1. Jaguars at 6-1 is very valuable. I like that one. I'm actually going to put $5 on that one as well. Team to draft CeeDee Lamb. Las Vegas Raiders 3-1. Jets plus 350. Eagles plus 450. Cardinals plus 550. Same with the Broncos and the Niners. Jags 10-1. Panthers 13-1. Miami 18-1. I like the Jets at plus 350 for that one. Team to draft Jerry Jeudy. Broncos plus 360. Raiders plus 360. 49ers plus 380. Jags plus 450. Jets plus 470. Cards 17-1. Dolphins 18-1. Browns 19-1. Eagles 19-1. I like the Raiders at plus 360. So, in terms of my best bets, I like the Raiders to draft Jerry Jeudy at plus 360. The Chargers to draft Tua at 2-1. The Broncos to draft Henry Ruggs at 3-1. So, that is a couple of them I like there. So, that's 3. CeeDee Lamb to be drafted by the New York Jets at plus 350. So, that is... So Jaguars to take Isaiah Simmons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I already gave out. The Wills at the Giants pick is another one of my best bets. So that's 6. Another best bet I like is the order of those running backs that I gave out. It was Swift, Edwards-Helaire, and Taylor. I think that was 5-1, so that's 7. The Gross-Matos draft position over 27.5, so that's 8 for best bets. I also like the over 7.5 for Tristan Wirfs draft position, so that's 9. And the last one of the best bets that I absolutely loved, where was it? I absolutely loved it, and I was going nuts. Where was it? Oh, players to be drafted in the top 10. I liked C.J. Henderson at plus 130 because I think it's very realistic that somebody takes him in the top 10. And now, without further ado, my predictions for the draft. Team by team. My last mock drafts on my regular podcast that I did earlier. So if you want to listen to that, then you can listen to that. But my official predictions for the draft, they're not necessarily round 1 related. Some of them are not. Arizona Cardinals trades down from the 8th pick to 16 and takes along a 2021 second rounder and the 119th pick of this year's draft from the Falcons. And sliding them at 16, Mekhi Becton. So I think he slides out of the top 10. And meanwhile, Atlanta trades up to number 8 in the Arizona spot and takes C.J. Henderson. The Baltimore Ravens will trade up to 23, sending the 28th pick and the 55th picks to New England, and takes Patrick Queen ahead of the New Orleans Saints. The Buffalo Bills take an interior offensive lineman on day 2. I think that will be Tyler Biadasz. The Carolina Panthers selects a Baylor player at some point in the draft. I think they take Denzel Mims on day 2. Or in the second round, I should say, in particular. That just feels right. Denzel Mims reunited with Ron Rivera. The Chicago Bears take an interior offensive line with one of their second-round picks, and I think that'll be Lloyd Cushenberry of LSU. The Cincinnati Bengals will take a tight end on day 3. I think that'll be Jared Pinkey. The Cleveland Browns trade down to 14 and also gets pick 117 from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as Andrew Thomas drops to them at 14. The Dallas Cowboys somehow land Cesar Ruiz. I just feel like he's meant to be a Cowboy. I don't know if they trade up in the first round and take him. I think there's a chance that they may trade up on day 2 and take him. They currently have the 17, 51, 82. So maybe they move up from 51 and trade 123. Let's say they take 51 and 123. And they move up to... Or no, I actually have them trading down as well. So, I think that they can potentially trade down. Maybe they trade down from 17. I really don't know. Do they trade down from 17? Yes, I'm going to say they trade down from 17. Maybe Jacksonville moves up from 20. And they take... maybe a corner or something, and then they have the 20th pick, and they address edge rusher corner there, and then they get an extra pick from the Jags, and they use that as well as their 51st pick and move up somewhere on day 2. Maybe they move up to the, I have a later trade involving the Colts pick, which is the Redskins pick. So maybe they move up to that pick. And from whoever I have them, you'll find out later. So they'll move up to round 2, pick 2, and take Cesar Ruiz. That's my prediction for the Cowboys. That's how they'll get Cesar Ruiz. Denver Broncos, Henry Ruggs falls to them at 15, and John Elway will be happy. Detroit Lions shocks the world and takes Derek Brown at number 3. You heard me give out all those value plays of Derek Brown. Nick Kostos is on this with me as well as his co-host partner the last couple weeks in Ross Tucker. He was the one that threw it out there, and then I kind of talked myself into it because they have a major need on the interior of their defensive line. The Houston Texans select the cornerback with the pick they got in the trade that sent the receiver Hopkins to Arizona, and I think that corner will be Jeff Gladney. Green Bay moves up to 27 and trades back with Seattle as Seattle gets 30 and 136, and Green Bay takes Jordan Brooks. Indianapolis trades their second round pick and their 4th round pick back into the first round into 31 and takes Trayvon Diggs after everyone thinks it's a quarterback. So that second round pick, owned by Indy, I think goes to San Francisco and then eventually will go to Dallas. That's how I think it will work out. Jacksonville does not draft a quarterback and then get ready for all the tank for Trevor and Fields talk. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields of Clemson and Ohio State, respectively. 16, Kansas City Chiefs trade back and gets 48 and 68 and takes Jonathan Taylor and Amik Robertson with those picks, let's say. The Chargers take an interior offensive lineman on day 2, and I think that could very well be Matt Hennessy. Rams take a running back on day 2 to replace Todd Gurley, and I think that could be J.K. Dobbins. Las Vegas Raiders take an edge rusher on day 2, and I think that could be Terrell Lewis of Alabama. Miami, smokescreen number 1 is legit, and it's real, and they take Justin Herbert at 5. And I mean smokescreen number 1 because that was the first possible smokescreen to come out, and smokescreen number 2 being real would be moving up to 3 to take a lineman, which would be nuts. So they take Justin Herbert at 5. Minnesota takes an edge rusher on day 2, and I think that'll be Marlon Davison of Auburn. New England trades up and drafts Jake Fromm on day 2. New Orleans surprises everyone and takes Jordan Love at spot number 24. The New York Football Giants take a linebacker day 2. Let's go with Zach Bond of Wisconsin at pick number, I believe it's 36. The New York Jets trade up to 32 and takes Austin Jackson as they send the Chiefs a couple picks. Obviously, let's say they send the Chiefs their second rounder and then the Giants pick that they got in the Leonard Williams deal. Philadelphia trades up to 19 and gives up 127 as well and takes Justin Jefferson ahead of the Jaguars. Or the Cowboys, I should say, because I have them trading back at 20 and taking a guy that fills a need potentially. I just don't know who that would be. Let's say K'Lavon Chasen. Pittsburgh drafts a quarterback on day 3. And I think that could very well be Anthony Gordon of Washington State. Seattle trades back to 30 and still takes the guy that everybody's mocking them for, and that's Yetur Gross-Matos of Penn State. San Francisco goes defense with their first rounder. So at the 13th pick, instead of taking one of those wide receivers, they'll either take C.J. Henderson if he's still there, which I doubt it, or Javon Kinlaw of South Carolina, or maybe K'Lavon Chasen of LSU, and they surprise everybody there. But I doubt that. I think it'll more likely be Kinlaw than another random guy we're not thinking of. 30, Tampa Bay trades up and takes Tristan Wirfs at number 10 after he surprisingly falls, because this is how I think it will play out. And I said 30 because I'm going in ABC order, and Tampa Bay is 30 on the ABC order list. So I think it'll be Burrow, Young, Derek Brown, Wills, Herbert, Tua. Panthers at 7 go with Okudah. They're happy. Atlanta trades up to 8 and takes Henderson. Isaiah Simmons goes to the Jaguars at 9. They're excited. Tampa Bay trades up and takes Tristan Wirfs at 10 after thinking there's a chance that the Jets end up potentially taking him at 11. And the Browns trade back and still get their guy in Andrew Thomas at 14. And then I think 11 will be CeeDee Lamb to the Jets, Judy 12 to the Raiders, and then Kinlaw 13. 14 I think will be Thomas. 15 to Denver, I think they'll be happy. They'll get Ruggs. And then 16 I think Arizona, I think Len Mekhi Becton's fall. And I think he gets drafted 16th overall by the Arizona Cardinals. So that's my top 16. And Tennessee, for my prediction for them, I think they take a wide receiver on day 3, and I think that'll be KJ Hill of Ohio State. And last but not least, my predictions for teams, Washington Redskins take a wide receiver on day 2, and I think they'll be KJ Hamler of Penn State. I just think that's a great fit there with him and McLaurin with Dwayne Haskins there. And in terms of how the rest of the draft goes, I'm just going to think out loud here. 17, I think Jacksonville trades up and takes, let's say, Kristen Fulton. 18 is the Dolphins. They'll take Josh Jones. 19, Raiders. They'll go with, let's say, Trayvon Diggs out of Bama. 20, Philly trades up ahead of the Jags and takes, my bad. 19, Philadelphia trades up and takes Jefferson. Dallas Cowboys at 20, K'Lavon Chasen. 21 would be the Raiders. They would take Trayvon Diggs. ahead of Minnesota. 22, Minnesota would take the kid from Utah, Jalen Johnson. I have the Ravens trading up to 23. They'll take Patrick Queen ahead of the Saints. I have them surprising and taking Jordan Love. 25 is Minnesota again. Let's say they take T. Higgins of Clemson. 26 is the Dolphins again. Let's say they take Xavier McKinney out of Bama there. 27 is the Seahawks. But I have Green Bay trading up to 27 and taking Jordan Brooks ahead of the Patriots. And they'll take their guy in A.J. Epineza at 28. 29, Tennessee. That's a tough one. Let's say they take Urza Cleveland at 29. 30 is Seattle. They'll take Gator Gross-Matos. 31's the trade-up spot. I have trading up to 31, Indianapolis. Actually, no, I have them taking Trayvon Diggs. Let's go the Raiders. Let's have them taking the Clemson kid, A.J. Terrell. That's my bad. Colts take Trayvon Diggs at 31. And in the trade, my proposed trade, Philly moves up to 19, takes Jefferson ahead of the Dallas in a mock trade. And then 21, the Raiders take A.J. Terrell of Clemson. So, Trayvon Diggs at 31, the Indy. And then San Fran trades back. And then 32 is a trade back of the Chiefs, and the New York Jets move up to 32 and take Austin Jackson. So there you go, my last second mock draft with trades, and that's it for the NFL Draft Predictions show. And I'll probably look back on this after the draft and see how I did. And I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.